Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching our debate. My name is Joanna Chatham, and I'll be the introducer for the group this evening. Our debate will follow an informal format. We feel this format caters best to the discussion of our topic. Our group members are myself as the introducer for the pro side, Tori will introduce the opposing arguments, and Megan and Tori will summarize our pro points. Melanie will present the research for both sides, and Megan will provide illustrations and supporting explanations for the research. I will then conclude our debate and go to questions and answers. To begin our debate, I want to start with a brief introduction on what autism is. Autism spectrum disorders are a group of developmental disorders that exist on a spectrum ranging from mild to severe expression. These disorders consist of difficulties in social interaction, verbal and nonverbal communication, and repetitive behaviors. It is also important to note that the prevalence and diagnosis of this disorder has rapidly increased over a short amount of time. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention confirms that 1 in 68 American children have an ASD diagnosis, which is a 10-fold increase in prevalence in 40 years. So with such a drastic increase in prevalence and diagnosis, a variety of treatments have emerged for ASD. The treatment with the most empirical support is called Applied Behavior Analysis, or ABA. ABA incorporates the principles of behavior to humans, in which responses that produce favorable outcomes increase and responses that produce unfavorable outcomes decrease. ABA is considered an early intensive behavioral intervention, and it is used to reduce the symptoms and problem behaviors, replace problem behaviors with appropriate skills in language, socialization, play, motor development, and daily living skills. With an empirical intervention in place, there are also several approaches that work together to deliver ABA. One of these approaches that have aided in the implementation of ABA is technology. The remainder and the focus of this debate addresses the use of technology in special education and ABA. Our debate takes the stance that technology enhances and expands the field of special education and ABA. So the debate will address counter-arguments to the use of technology in these fields, as well as arguments for the use of technology in these fields by providing research and illustrations. Specifically, the debate will cover counter-arguments of the constant need for maintenance, consistent measure of treatment fidelity, training, and lack of funding. The debate will also cover arguments of how technology improves access to services in areas that otherwise would not receive ABA, how technology provides virtual training for individuals to become behavior technicians, how technology serves as an instructional aid for clients, how it aids in increased communication and language skills, and lastly, how it expands the possibilities for data collection and interpretation.
Hello. My name is Tori Larkins, and I will be summarizing the counter-argument. Technology has come a long way in a relatively short period of time. Within this timeline, technology has made many advances that enhance the learning of students and faculty alike. Teachers can now upload assignments on a website that all students have access to via phone or computer. Classrooms can have group discussions on Twitter. Assignments are submitted electronically, and students can earn degrees through online schooling. These advances highlight technology as a seemingly positive advancement in this generation, yet there are 4 instances in which technology hinders the future of special education and applied behavior analysis. A primary concern to implementing technology into the field of special education and ABA is its constant need for maintenance. For those students who rely on it as a means of communication, they are deprived of that communication during its repair time. Additionally, the time that it takes to be repaired also needs to be taken into account. For people who live in rural areas, this could take days to happen since they may need to send their technological device into a company to be repaired, or they need to wait for someone to come to their location to repair the technology. According to the BACB Compliance Code 2.15, Interrupting or Discontinue Services, Part A states that the behavior analysts act in the best interest of the client to avoid interruption or disruption of service. If an individual's technology breaks down and is found to be unusable, this would be an interruption of services, which would be considered unethical for the individual. Another consideration is when the assistive technology, such as an iPad, runs out of battery. How does the child communicate? It creates many scenarios that could potentially happen where a child is now engaging in problem behaviors because their assistive device is not available for them to use. A final consideration about the breakdown of technology is when a technology base that stores personal information breaks down or gets hacked into. The time that it takes to repair this base puts client information in jeopardy, and this is a direct infraction of the BACB Compliance Code 2.06, maintaining confidentiality. A second issue with the use of technology is the measure of treatment fidelity. Having a high treatment fidelity is important when implementing an intervention because when high fidelity is achieved, it means that the implementation of the intervention was consistent and accurate. When low fidelity is achieved, it could potentially mean that everyone that implemented the intervention were doing it differently, and the results are inconsistent and inaccurate. Since technology is ever-changing and unique to each individual, it's difficult to operationally define the response requirement for the children using the technology. Families also need to be correctly trained in the implementation of the intervention, or they will also have discrepancies in the consistency. Another great concern for the use of technology in special education and applied behavior analysis is the training that it takes to create a resource that's successful. It is critical for those implementing the use of technology to be trained in the use and implementation of the technology, or it may not work as intended. Training for these technologies requires time, which is a resource that many teachers just do not have. The BACB Compliance Code 2.09 Part C states that when there are more than one scientifically supported treatments that have been established, additional factors may be considered in selecting interventions, including, but not limited to, efficiency and cost effectiveness, risks and side effects of interventions, client preference, and practitioner experience and training. It is unethical for a treatment to be implemented and the practitioners lack experience with the treatment or have not been trained adequately enough for the treatment to be effective. Not only is training difficult for new technologies that are being used in classrooms, but the funding to buy these new technologies is challenging to attain. This is another major barrier for the use of technology. Locating funds in rural school districts can be a challenge because they do not have the funding allocations of larger school districts and have to rely on federal or private grants to support their technological needs. Many times, the conditions of federal and state grants are too strict and competitive for professionals to apply anyways. Funding is hard for schools, and many times it's hard for families to find the funds to help pay for these technologies at home. It can be noted that the BACB Compliance Code 2.09 Part C states that the additional factor in selecting the intervention is cost effectiveness of the treatment. If the treatment cost is higher than that which can be afforded, then could the treatment be effective anyways? It would then create another problem, funding allocation, that would have to take more time and resources to discuss and come to a conclusion of. The use of technology poses many obstacles in the ever-busy and overburdened lives of those in the education and research fields. Whether the obstacle is a lack of funding or personal privacy, inadequate training, or the wait for a repair, technology creates many more problems than opportunities and should be a concern by those considering its use.
Hello, my name is Megan, and I will be summarizing the beginning part of our argument for the debate. One of the ways that technology can enhance the education and daily lives of children with special needs is increased access to services. BACB Ethical Compliance Code 2.09 states that all clients have the right to effective treatment. This code includes clients that may be at too great of a distance to obtain effective treatment. Technology can help behavior analysts or other service providers to reach families who would not otherwise have services. Minimal costs are involved with virtual training, and it can increase access to the services. Technology-based training programs allow people to have access to training at any time or place. This type of training that is available can range from direct interaction in instructional content and personal to hypothetical situations in modules or videos. Another way that technology aids individuals with special needs is by using technology as an instructional aid. Instructional aids can help to individualize programs for children with special needs. For behavior analysts, individualizing programs falls under the BACB Ethical Compliance Code 4.03. This compliance code states that the behavior plan must be tailored to each individual depending on the circumstances. Therefore, using assistive technologies is essential to follow the BACB Ethical Compliance Code to the best of our ability, as long as those assistive technologies were appropriate for the client. There are many different ways that technologies can be used in the classroom or in an intervention program that can benefit the student with special needs. 3 ways that the technology can be used to benefit the student in the classroom are communication, video modeling, and video self-prompting. Communication is a common deficit among those diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Augmentative and alternative communication include the ProLoQ2Go application to the iPad. Was developed to assist with communication deficits. Speech-generating devices such as the iPad and the ProLoQ2Go application can be used in the classroom to increase classroom participation, peer interaction, as well as interaction with adults. Video modeling can be used for individuals with ASD to promote independence in many skills, including reducing problem behavior, increasing functional living skills, perspective taking, and social communication behaviors. If video modeling can be used to promote appropriate and effective communication, particularly in the classroom, then this should be used as a tool to promote said communication. Video modeling is also inexpensive and easy to implement. Video self-prompting is another way that technology can be used to benefit children with special needs as an instructional aid. Video self-prompting is viewing a video to watch a model perform the steps of the task. As technology advances, video self-prompting becomes more convenient with portable devices such as iPhones, which can fade into using natural environments.
Another advantage technology brings to special education and applied behavior analysis is its potential to increase communication. There have been many ways that technology has not only increased communication for children with special needs, but any child who may have difficulty communicating. One specific technological system that was mentioned earlier is the Augmentative and Alternative Communication, or AAC. This system can be its own device or an iPad application. It provides people with the opportunity to communicate via technology and is used for individuals who currently cannot talk, will not be able to talk, or struggle daily to talk. Using technology to communicate is directly associated with the BACB Compliance Code 2.09, Treatment and Intervention Efficacy. This code protects the client's right to effective treatment. It is our job to provide support to interventions that will better the client's well-being. With the implementation of technology, there are many devices and systems that can be used to help the child communicate. Technology is also effective for data collection in both special education classrooms and ABA clinics. As with most technological devices, technology-based data collection has the ability to be efficient, effective, and manageable. It has been demonstrated that technology shows greater validity compared to paper data collection. In addition, technology-based data collection is easier to share, update, and graph compared to paper data collection. Reliable data collection obtained through technology-based systems also improves patient care. By using a touchscreen kiosk, it can allow for quick and reliable data collection. Reliable data collection provides better collaboration, quick consultations, and increased client participation. Additionally, reliable data collection provides accurate client progress, as well as information to professionals and insurance companies who often validate treatment. As aspiring BCBAs, it is part of our job to ensure that we have an effective data collection system. According to the BACB compliance codes, it ensures accountability and protects us legally. With the use of technology, we can enhance the education and daily lives of children with special needs by increasing their access to services. Technology can provide aids to help level the playing field for those with special needs in schools, and it can increase communication and give us more efficient and reliable ways to take data. All of these components are keys to effective treatment, which is the main goal for all BCBAs. We're all here to provide the best care possible for every client and to ensure the greatest possible quality of life for the individual.
Hi, my name is Melanie Wilson. I'm going to continue on to report the research that supports all of our arguments and counter-arguments. So I'm going to start with the counter-argument research support first. There's a lot of research supporting our counter-arguments. First, I'm going to explain 4 main studies that support those main claims. Our first claim within the counter-argument is that all technology requires a certain amount of maintenance. An article supporting this counterclaim is by Mavru 2014, which focused on 4 case studies of 4 students who used assistive technology in school. The findings of this study brought 6 difficulties with technology to light. The last concern of this article supports our first counterargument, which is technical support and development and maintenance of the devices is ongoing. This difficulty can be a potential drawback of technology for special education. Our second counterargument is that measuring fidelity with the use of technology is difficult. The article that supports this claim is by Pollard et al. 2014. They state that since technology is ever-changing and unique to each individual, it's difficult to operationally define the response requirement. Without specific and clear operational definitions, treatment fidelity will not be achieved. This point also relates back to the Eddie Byrne article, which said that full training is necessary to ensure correct implementation of technology in the classroom. Our third counterargument states that many find difficulty in gaining access to technology due to expenses. Sundin and Sundin support this counterargument. This article focuses on the unavailability of funds for technology in rural schools. The article mentions that bigger schools with more funds may have funds directly allocated to technology, but that this is not necessarily the case for smaller rural schools. The unavailability of funds presents an issue in that technology is not equally available for all schools. Technology cannot be an asset to an educational program if the school is not able to gain access to funding to receive technology that's useful. Our fourth and final counterargument is that effective technology requires effective training. If training is not effective or not provided at all, then the individual using the technology incorrectly can be harmed. Eddie Byrne 2013 supports this counterargument. This article is ultimately supporting the use of technology in schools, but it also shares the point that effective training is pertinent for effective use of technology. This study even goes as far to say the lack of adequate teacher training has been a well-documented barrier that undermines the potential of technology. It is clear that comprehensive training is needed in order for professionals in the educational system to use technology effectively. So now I'm going to move on to the research that's supporting our arguments for the debate. So starting off, our arguments include 4 ways that technology can be used to enhance the future of applied behavior analysis, ABA, and special education. So going forward, I'm going to explain the studies that support our 4 main arguments for the use of technology to further special education and ABA. So our first argument is that technology gives training access to rural areas. Weiner and Ingersoll 2013 support this claim. This article explains a single subject, multiple baseline design study with 2 samples, which were a therapist and a parent. The study looked at a self-directed distance learning program that was meant to teach reciprocal imitation training. The study showed that this type of online learning is often successful in teaching skills of implementation to competency. However, this article also notes that one-to-one feedback and support was provided over a few weeks, and it's not clear if this type of support is necessary for success. And if a high level of support is necessary, then this could be a potential drawback to online training. The article said that 1/3 of participants required additional coaching to reach fidelity of implementation, so that could be another potential drawback. Additionally, minimal cost is involved with training, and online training increases access to services. Our second claim is that technology benefits intervention programs as an instructional aid. Beresnak et al. 2012 states that daily living skills were taught to 3 male high school students with autism spectrum disorders using an iPhone. All 3 of these students increased performance across 3 measured behaviors. The behaviors with increased independence were using a washing machine, making noodles, and using a copy machine. 2 of the students used the iPhone to learn how to self-prompt, and they actually taught themselves the target skills. A multiple probe design across behaviors replicated across participants was used to evaluate the effectiveness of the video self-prompting intervention. Some limitations discussed in this article included minimal generalization and maintenance data, no data on learning how to use the device, things like which buttons to press, when you press those buttons. Inter-observer reliability was also not collected for one of the participants during the baseline condition. And finally, criteria for mastery changed after the study began. Ultimately, this study came to the conclusion that video self-prompting may be beneficial in the classroom and across community environments. Our third argument stated that technology's potential to increase communication. One research article reviewed 15 studies on using iPods and iPads as speech-generating devices, SGDs. The studies reviewed covered 5 domains, which included academics, communication, employment, leisure, and transitioning across school settings. The studies included in the review also used the devices for 2 different purposes, which were instructional prompts and requesting preferred items. This study came out in favor of using these devices as instructional aids, particularly with communication. Our fourth and final argument is that using a technology-based data collection system is more efficient, effective, and easy to manage than traditional pen and paper methods of data collection. One benefit of technology-based data collection is that it is easy to communicate progress and to collaborate with a family or with other professionals. Goldstein 2010 showed that using a touchscreen kiosk for data collection allows for quick and reliable data collection. Some of the benefits shared in this study are data can be shared for collaboration, data is always collected the same way, and data can always be found in the same place. One limitation discussed is with web-based systems. The article says that web-based systems can lose data if the internet connection is lost, which is obviously not a good thing. So we came to the conclusion, based on the research that we found, that technology can further special education rather than hinder
it. I will now present some of the visuals that support our points and counterpoints. The points and counterpoints stated by the summarizer pertain to everyone watching this debate, and even if your child does not have a disability. Technology is only going to continue to advance and provide us with additional resources to help our children. It is very costly. For example, I will show you a chart. This chart explains the cost of an iPad ranging from $269 to $500 and a suggested augmentative alternative speech device by an SLP, which is $300. This app is called LAMP. So the total of the cost of the technology would be $569 to $800. Although it is very costly, there are grants and scholarships that are available. Also, the benefits of the device will far outweigh the negatives. This graph shows that during baseline, without training or know-how of an AAC device, the child has 0% opportunities. After receiving training, the child has 100% opportunities to answer open-ended questions. The research studies showed that using devices was effective for these children. I will now show a video. This video shows the effectiveness of a device how effective a device can be for a child that may have difficulty communicating verbally. It opens many doors for them and provides them with a voice.
Hey Ryan, did you have a good day at school? Yeah? Who did you see at school?
Mr. Nick.
You saw Mr. Nick? Did you see anybody else?
Miss Tina.
You did?
Tina.
Did you see any of your friends? You saw Bella. Bella. Do you like Bella? Yeah. Hey, what's your favorite color?
Colors. Black.
Black's your favorite color? Hey, what's your phone number?
My phone number is 816-847-6637.
Cool. Hey, who did you see on Thursday that said ho, ho, ho?
Santa Claus.
You did. Did he say ho, ho, ho? Yeah, ho, ho, ho. Good job. Hey, what's your favorite food? What do you like to eat? Can you show me? What do you like to eat for a snack?
Cracker.
You do like crackers. What do you like to eat for lunch?
Pizza.
Yeah.
This video provided a good example of a speech-generated device. The next visual I'm going to show you is a chart that shows the advantages of technology as we see people use it for online classes to communicate efficiently with others and receive training on the topics efficiently. This graph provides very supportive information about training and technology. The line with the open circles represents the control group, and the line with the filled-in circles are the treatment group. The treatment group received virtual training. This shows that the treatment group had higher level mastery in implementation skills of play and work activities supporting virtual training techniques.
Thank you, Megan, for those wonderful supporting visuals. Oh, this just in from our viewers. Okay, so a teacher says, I don't have time to take data on a child's behavior using an iPad while I'm teaching 30 other children. I'm having a hard time keeping up with all the forms and papers that there are to fill out to get good data. What can I do to help this?
I'll take that one. Data on behaviors can be taken via many different collection systems. There is supportive research on the efficiency of data collection using technology. A few that are commonly used are Catalyst and Rethink Autism.
Great. Thank you, Tori. Okay, question number 2. I'm a teacher at an elementary school, and the kid in my class needs some kind of help with communicating to his peers in the school. His family doesn't have a lot of money or resources for this. What would be the best resource for him? Melanie, what do you think?
Well, there are many resources and grants that you can get to help purchase a device if that's something that you're interested in looking for. The child would also need to have a speech evaluation by your school or a speech language pathologist to show proof of this. Here's an additional resource for you that might help you find a cheap or maybe even a free iPad with this problem. It's called 5 Ways to Get a Free iPad for Your Special Needs Child. And if you just put that into Google, it should come up with some information for you.
Great. Thank you, Melanie. Okay. A mom just sent this in. She says, my child is currently enrolled in an ABA clinic. They are working on methods at the center, but I really want him to be able to communicate more with me at home. What could I use to help with this problem? Megan, what do you think?
There are many ways in different types of augmentative and alternative communication available. Of these communication devices are common method for communication. Some examples of these technologies are the Prolo Quo2 Go app for the iPad and the Dynavex. Individuals with speech difficulties can use these devices to communicate with others. These devices can be individualized in many ways. These devices can also help to build social relationships. A really great resource for one of these technologies can be found on YouTube by searching Ryan using the Prolo 2 Go.
Great. All right, another question that we received says, I live in an area that does not have good access to the internet. I really do not have a lot of experience with technology. My kid is getting services at school to help with communication, and they are using a device there. The teachers tell me that he has been doing a great job increasing his communication. How can I learn to continue this at home?
That is a really great question. I'll take that one. If you talk to your school, they should be able to give you resources to learn how to use the device or something that's like it at home. Training is a really important part of implementing these types of interventions. And they may even have a specialist that comes to the school to help train the other teachers that are there. So you should talk to your school that your kid goes to and see if they have the resources to provide this type of training, or maybe even direct training from those specialists that come in that have trained the teachers.
Awesome. Thank you, Tori. All right, this is from another mom with a child who has ASD. So she says, my child is 5 years of age and has an autism spectrum disorder diagnosis. He's pretty high functioning, however, has difficulty socializing with peers. What do you suggest in order to increase his socialization skills? Melanie, what do you think?
Self-prompting has been shown to promote social expressive behaviors. Self-prompting is viewing a video as a task. You can use any kind of video device that you have at home to record steps of how your child can appropriately socialize with peers. You could use a brother and a sister or some neighbor friends to take the starring role in your video and just kind of model what that good socialization looks like. So then you can have your child watch the video before engaging in a social interaction and prompt him to follow the steps on the video.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie. All right. So why is using technology important for my kid at school? What ways do teachers actually use this? Megan?
Teachers can now upload assignments on a website that all students have access to via phone or computer. The classroom can have group discussions on Twitter, assignments can be submitted electronically, students can earn degrees through online schooling. There are also children who use this technology to help them to communicate with others. Some examples of this technology are the Prolo 2 Go app for the iPad.
Awesome. All right, so another question that we received says, when this technology breaks down, it costs so much to fix. There are also so many updates to technology that happen overnight. So is it worth using? Tori, what do you think about this?
I absolutely think that it's worth using. I think that the benefits far outweigh the negatives. Updates just better the technology basically and help with it working faster. And most of the updates suggested are free. They're usually available online or within the app itself. And it definitely is a problem when technology breaks down, but with the advancements in technology, there are options to transfer these apps to other devices so the child is able to use another device while theirs is being fixed. And I know some schools even loan out things like iPads, or clinics can loan out iPads for people that this has happened to so that they have a replacement while theirs is being fixed.
Great answer. Thank you. All right. So another question that we received says, I feel like my children are already exposed to too much technology throughout their day. I limit their time on the computer so they can appreciate their experiences in real life. How much is too much technology in my child's education? Melanie, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, while we absolutely believe that technology is beneficial to children who need it to help them with their work, school, communication, this is definitely something that is used when needed. It's something to help teach children how to improve their quality of life. It's a generally frowned upon practice to use technology as a reinforcer throughout the day. Technology such as computers or iPads are used as reinforcers when there are really difficult programs that are going on in that situation. And, they're used for children who are being taught a difficult skill and they need a very strong motivator. It's always the goal of those working with the child to try to find reinforcers that are motivating, that don't just leave them in front of a screen.
Excellent point. All right, so our last question for the night. Can you learn to effectively implement procedures of ABA through distance learning? Megan, tell us about it.
Well, research shows that individuals can learn directly involved in the client's daily life. They can learn through specific procedures with treatment fidelity through online programs. In multiple studies, virtual technology-based training increased the competency for implementation of ABA procedures. Coaching and feedback is sometimes needed, but research and treatment fidelity after completing technology-based trainings. Coaching and feedback can occur online as well via video chat, and research can be found in 2 studies, the Fisher et al. 2014 and the Weiner and Ingersoll 2013.
Great. So to conclude this debate, I would like to recap the great arguments that were made for the use of technology in special education and ABA. Our group would like to once again reiterate that technology is critical to the enhancement and expansion of special education and ABA. Specific to the fields of special education and ABA, technology has the ability to improve access to services in areas that otherwise would not receive ABA. Technology provides virtual training for individuals to become behavior technicians. It serves as an instructional aid for clients, and technology aids in increased communication and language skills. Lastly, but certainly not least, technology expands the possibilities for data collection and interpretation. With such advances as these, it is necessary to continue to incorporate the use of technology into special education and ABA. Thank you for tuning in. We hope we have provided you with some great food for thought. Goodbye.
Bye.